Hello friends, how are you doing today? I've been having some technical difficulty, so I hope that this works now. As you practice today, please listen to your body. And if your body says, I don't want to do something, please don't do it. Sometimes you just have to skip a pose and wait and do the next one. Or do the one that you missed later on in either this session or some other session. After you finish practicing today, please be sure to drink some water. Always after you practice, drink some water. It's good for the body. Stand in Tadasana. Put your toes together and have your heels slightly apart. When you have your toes together, you find your heels are going out at an oblique angle, at a wide angle, because of a bunion or something like that, just have your feet separated instead, with the outer edges of the feet no wider than your hips, please. Lift the toes up, stretch them forwards, bring them down onto the mat, press the big toes down. Press the balls of the feet down, press the sides of the feet down. Pull the arches up, pull the kneecaps up, pull the muscles up on the insides of the legs towards the groin. The skin, the muscles on the outside legs are going down towards the ground. This helps to create a nice firm foundation. When you pull the kneecaps up, that is what in some schools they call locking the knees. Locking the knees is not pressing the knees back into your legs so the backs of your legs start to bow out behind the knees. You don't want to do that. Engage the muscles just above the pubis very lightly. It's a very slight pulling up motion. Tuck the two floating ribs or the short ribs along the sides. Lift the clavicles, the collarbones. Drop the spine of scapula, the top part of the shoulders. Externally rotate the deltoid muscles. To do that, simply turn the hands out. Lengthen your spine. Imagine you have a hand just behind the heart, very gently pushing upwards. Relax the shoulders down. Tuck the chin slightly so you're looking a little bit down towards the floor. The back of the neck is lengthened nicely. Please try to keep your chin tucked a little bit throughout the practice. That helps to protect the neck. There are some poses where you may lift the chin up, but by and large, please try and keep the chin slightly tucked. Relax the face. Relax the skin at the crown of the head so it feels like it's separating. But if that feels weird to you or you just don't want to think about it, please don't worry about that. This is the mountain pose. It's also called the hill pose. And in some schools it's called samastitihi, which means equal balance or equal standing. After you practice each standing pose, please return to this pose for a moment or two before going on to the next pose. As you breathe, try breathing from the tummy, but there are some poses that you'll do from time to time where breathing from the tummy is not a reasonable option, and if that is the case, please don't force yourself to breathe from the tummy. And if your body doesn't feel like breathing from the tummy at any point, don't breathe from the tummy, breathe as your body would like you to. The first pose that I would like to do after this one is Virabhadrasana II, Warrior II. Please stand with the feet comfortably far apart. Please keep in mind that once your feet are in place, if you need to shift them in or out a little bit, please don't hesitate to do that. Remember, your feet are not fixed in place, so if you do need to make an adjustment, please make the adjustment. Make sure the outer edges of your feet press down comfortably and engage the big toes. Notice, if you relax the big toes, that your torso tends to move forward a little bit. And by pressing the big toes down, that helps to realign your legs over the ankles. Turn the right foot out. Bring the foot down, noticing the top of the foot. If the top of the foot feels tight at this point, it means your stance may be too wide at the beginning of the practice. Later on, they may not be so tight. Bring the rear toes in. Bring the joint of the right knee directly above the ankle bone. As you're in the pose, please keep in mind that you want to be in a position where your body is able to relax a little bit. If you have your legs so far apart, even though you have the joint of the knee above the ankle bone like you're supposed to do. Even if you have all that, but yet your muscles feel so taut that you feel like you're getting this incredible stretch, but there isn't any relaxation going on in the groin or in the legs, you're into the pose too deeply. And it won't work so well for you in the long run. So go towards the edge, don't go to the edge. So if you're in the pose and you find that you could go deeper and still be relaxed, then adjust the pose and go deeper into the pose. And if you feel like you're in too deep, just draw the front leg back a little bit so your body gets a chance to relax. Make sure your groins feel relaxed. You don't want the groins to feel overstretched. Imagine you're lifting the front leg up off the mat and you're drawing the rear leg behind you a little bit. Bring the arms up, roll them over, bring the wrists back. Keep the torso generally straight up and down, and then when you're ready to, turn the head towards the right. Keep an eye on the knee. The joint of the knee should be over the ankle. You should be able to relax the groin a little bit. Keep the rear leg strong. Keep the left leg strong. Torso generally straight up and down. If you find that you're leaning towards the right leg, your stance is too wide, and just shorten the stance a little bit. Keep the face soft. Now, as we practice, I'm not going to hold these poses for a long time. When you are in your practice, you hold them as you will. But remember, don't let the ego get in the way of your practice. So don't overbake your poses. Come out of the pose just at the right time. Relax the left buttock a little bit. What's happening with your rear arm? Try to keep the arms at the shoulder height. However, if you're having problems with your shoulders and you can't do that, don't worry about that. Have your arms at a height that works for you. Keep the shoulders relaxed, the chin tucked slightly. Remember your breathing. If you need to put the arms down for a moment or two, do that. Keep the big toe pressing down, especially in the right foot, in the front foot. That helps to keep the knee lined up with the second toe. You don't want to have the knee wandering in over the ankle. Now straighten the front leg. Feet face the front. Regain your equilibrium. You may need to shorten the stance a little bit. Remember, you may be tighter on one side than you are on the other. Turn the left foot out. Again, notice the top of the foot. Bring the rear toes in. The joint of the left knee is above the ankle bone, not the kneecap, not the patella, but the joint itself is above the ankle bone. The patella lines up with the second toe. Remember, you feel like you're lifting the front leg up off the mat, and you're drawing the rear leg behind you. Your torso is generally straight up and down. Remember, you may be tighter on this side. If you have scoliosis, that could come into play. So please allow your body to be the way that it wants to be, not the way you think it should be. Feel like the energy in your chest is going through, up to the shoulders, through the shoulders and the arms, out through the fingers, and out in either direction. Listen to your body. Remember to find that sweet spot. Remember to keep the outer edge of the left foot pressing down. I beg your pardon, the right foot pressing down the rear foot at this point. Use the big toe in the left foot. Now straighten the front leg, feet face the front. Return to Tadasana. I'm going to open a window. It's feeling a little stuffy in here. I should have done that before starting. As you can see, this isn't an official setup. This is just the front room of our house where I do my morning practice. Now, please stand in Tadasana. The next pose that I would like to do is Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose. There are 3 ways that we can do this. However, I'm only going to show you 2 of them. Again, with this pose, please be sure to listen to your body. Make sure your rear leg is strong. Make sure your legs are strong. Don't overextend in this pose. Stand as if we were going to do Virabhadrasana II again, Warrior II, so the feet are comfortably far apart. Turn the right foot out, bring the foot down, bring the rear toes in, the joint of the knee above the ankle bone. Put your hands on your hips for a moment. Notice that the left hip is further forward than the right hip. That is as it should be. You don't want the hips lining directly up one under the other or one behind the other. If they are, what you'll find will happen is that the knee, the right knee in this case, will start to lean in over the arch of the foot or over the ankle. So if I turn my hip like that to line them up directly, that brings the knee in like that and it puts torque on the knee. You don't want that. You don't want that. So keep the left hip slightly further forward in this direction than the right. Bring the arms up, roll them over, wrist back. We're now back in Virabhadrasana II. For the first way, take the right hand, bring the right hand down, put the right hand behind the knee with the elbow bent, unless you've got short arms. Press down with the hand, the fingers pointing out. Drop the left hand down, bring the left arm up overhead, and you are now looking past the armpit to the wall behind you or the floor behind you. If you feel unbalanced doing this, look wherever you feel balanced. Don't force yourself to be looking in a particular direction if that's not going to work out for you. The other thing is, if the shoulder is giving you trouble, you can have your arm at an angle that happens to work for you. You could also take your hand and put the hand into the small of the back. So the hand is like that with the fingers pointing down and just pressing firmly into the lower back. If you don't normally do that, you might try it just to see. It can be rather comfortable. So, like so, you feel from the little finger, the energy going down the little finger all the way down to the little toe in the back. A nice long pose. The chest is revolving slightly towards the front. Just a slight revolution, only as much as it takes for you to notice it. It's not you're trying to bring your chest around so it's pointing up towards the ceiling. The other way that you can do this is, again, beginning in Virabhadrasana II, lengthen forward, reaching forward as if you're going to reach for something, and then draw the elbow down, pull the elbow behind the knee. The elbow pulls the skin back from behind the knee, not actually on the knee itself. Again, the torso revolves, the left arm comes down, overhead, looking past the armpit. You're pressing down with the big toes. You're drawing the rear leg behind you. It feels like you're lifting the front leg up off the floor, looking wherever is most comfortable. Again, the shoulder, you could put the palm on the small of the back, pressing down, again allowing the torso to revolve. The hand that's on the elbow, or the arm of the hand that's on the elbow, the palm is pointing upwards and it's active. It's as if you're holding a glass there or something like that. So you hold this as long as it's comfortable. Then when you come out of the pose, come briefly into Virabhadrasana II and just wait there for a moment or two. Then straighten the front leg, feet face the front. The reason why I do that pausing in Virabhadrasana II is that I've noticed that sometimes my hip starts to lock there. And by pausing in Virabhadrasana II before straightening the front leg, it allows the hip to unlock a little bit. I find it easier. So, now for the other side. Turn the left foot out. Again, noticing the top of the foot. Joint of the knee above the ankle bone. Left hand down behind the knee, finger pointing outwards, dropping the right arm down, bringing it up overhead, or at whatever angle happens to work for you, looking past the armpit or wherever you feel most balanced, keeping an eye on the knee, lengthening the spine, the torso revolving comfortably, breathing. Again, breathe as your body wants to, but if you can breathe with your tummy, do that. Without forcing it, mind you. And the other way, you reach forward, 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 draw the elbow back, pull the elbow behind the knee, the skin behind the knee, dropping the arm down, the right arm down, bringing it up overhead, or wherever is most comfortable for you, including the palm on the small of the back, pushing in gently, revolving the torso, the hand of the elbow that's on the knee or behind the knee is facing upwards, fingers are active, but not overly taut. Remember, you need to find space where you can relax in the pose. So you don't want to go too deep. And to come out of it, draw the right arm back to Virabhadrasana II, straighten the front leg, feet face the front, stand in Tadasana. Now with the pose that we just did, please, if your body wants you to be using the first style, where the hand is behind the knee and the arm up overhead, rather than the elbow pulling the skin back and your torso being closer to the leg, do the one that your body wants. Don't do the one that your ego wants. In the long run, you'll get a lot more from the pose by doing it the way your body wants you to do it than you will by forcing yourself into the other position where your body is all cramped up. Please don't do that. So stand in Tadasana. Now, this collection of poses that I am doing today are a lot more on the gentle side of poses. So if you want something slightly deeper, I really don't do a lot of videos that are where you go deeply into a pose, where the poses takes a lot of effort to get into. So if you do want one of those, you can let me know. Or you could check out some of the other videos that I have done. Some of them may meet your interest, some not. If there is something that you would like to see, a particular type of pose that you would like to see that I'm able to do, I will be happy to do it. There are a lot of poses that I can't do. You know, I have been doing this a long time, but as I get older, there are poses that are not really accessible to me anymore. So the next pose that I would like to do, I have a sheet of poses here that I'm looking at, is Konasana, the bound angle pose. So please come down onto the mat. Now this is a nice pose to begin with. So to start out, extend your legs out. We're going to briefly do Dandasana, which is a nice introduction. This is rather like doing the mountain pose, but for seated. So I'm going to sit here for a moment with the legs comfortably extended out. Then, putting the hands behind the knees, draw the feet back. Put the feet together, rock side to side just to remove some of the muscles from the hip bones. So you're sitting a little more easily. It'll also help to loosen up the lower back. Please try and keep the back comfortably straight. don't force yourself into a position your body doesn't want to be in. If being in this position is very difficult for you, sit on a block. If you don't have a block, you could use a thick book. That will work very nicely. Take your thumbs, massage the arches in the feet. Lengthen the spine, lift the clavicles, drop the spinal scapula. Let your hips open. Avoid the temptation to flop your legs, your knees up and down. That's not good for your groin. You just pull the muscles in the groin. So, now, move the elbows so the elbows are touching very lightly the creases where the legs meet. Not on the knees, but where the calf and the thigh muscles meet. So just place them there. Then very gently, keeping the spine comfortably straight, tucking the two floating ribs, lifting the collarbones, the clavicles, dropping the spinal scapula, very gently for about 10 or 15 seconds, so that would be 10 or 15 elephants. Just gently press the elbows, press the legs against the elbows, not the other way around. Just using enough pressure so that in your groin you feel a very slight increase in tension, very slight. You do not want to overdo this. Keep the chin comfortably tucked, spine comfortably lengthening. When you've done about 15 elephants, draw the elbows back and let the elbows rest near the body, near the torso. Give yourself about 10 or 15 elephants again. Then move the elbows back. Again, lightly press the legs against the elbows, just lightly. Spine comfortably lengthening, two floating ribs, spine of scapula, top part of the shoulders. Listen to your body. Now move the elbows back. Again, letting the hips relax. You may notice that the hips widen, that the legs open up a little bit, the knees get closer to the mat. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. Your legs are still getting the benefit of having done this. Make any subtle adjustments your body suggests. Now move the elbows back. And then again, for the last time, press the legs against the elbows. Now move the elbows back and just let the legs relax for a moment or two. Now, when you practice this, don't do this more than 3 times in a row at a setting. Don't do this 2 days in a row. So every second day, feel free to do this. If you do this more than 3 times, you don't get any benefit from it. So no more than 3 times at a time. So now to bring the legs together using the hands, don't use the legs to bring yourself together. Then extend the legs out. We're going to do Dandasana again. The legs are extended out. The toes are active. They're pointing up towards the ceiling. The arches in the feet are going forwards. The sides of the feet feel like they're coming back. Hands placed on the floor or on the thighs, depending on how you happen to feel. Tuck the 2 floating ribs. Lift the clavicles. Drop the spine of scapula. This is an active pose. The chin is slightly tucked so the back of the neck is lengthened. And relax. The next pose that we're going to do is called Sukasana. It's an easy pose. You begin with the right leg in front. Your legs are crossed. The toes are active. They're pointing forwards. The sides of the feet press into the floor, but they don't press really hard into the floor. If they press very hard into the floor, you'll start to put a lot of pressure on the joints of the knees. So please don't do that. Remember, in most standing poses, most seated poses like this, the knees are the most vulnerable bits on the leg. So please make sure that you don't overdo it. But you do want to have some pressure. You do want the toes to be sticking forwards. The arches in the feet feel like they're sticking out to the sides. Take the hands, put the hands on the knees, and gently pull the torso forwards. If you are seated and your lower back is rounding out rather than rounding in, you may want to sit on something. You could sit on a block. You could get a nice thick towel, fold the towel up, and just sit on it so that your sits bones are sitting on the towel and not the whole part of the legs. That'll give you some elevation. That will allow the muscles and the sinews in the lower part of the back, where they connect to the greater trochanter in the hips, the leg bones and the hips. Very important muscle group. So lift the clavicles, drop the spinous scapula, tuck the two floating ribs. Now there's a turn in this. We're going to be turning towards the right. As you turn, I want you to keep the chin in line with the chest. Only use the muscles in the body to turn. You're not using your hands to turn. So if you want to, you can put the hands on the floor, or you can keep them on the knees. Just use the torso to turn. When your body is turned as far as it comfortably wants to on a breath while you're exhaling, if you want more, inhale, take another breath, exhale, turn some more. After your body has turned as much as it wants to, then turn the head towards the right, so with the corner of the eye, you see the corner of the shoulder. You're not trying to put your chin over the shoulder. So, inhaling, and exhaling, turn the torso, move the left hand to the right knee or the right thigh, take the right hand, place the right hand beside you. Then if you want to turn some more, exhale, turn some more. Then finally turn the head. So you're starting to look towards the shoulder with the corner of the eye. Relax your shoulders. Lift the clavicles, drop the spinous scapula. Try and keep the torso straight up and down. Try to avoid leaning towards the right. You might do that a little bit, that's fine. But you want to try and avoid that if you can. Holding it for a moment or two, so long as it feels comfortable. Then undo the bind. Pause for a moment. Allow the body to adjust. Always do that after you come out of twists. Now exchange the position of the feet. Now the left foot is on front, or the other foot, depending on how you started. Feet are active, pressing into the sides of the mat. Put the hands on the knees, gently pull the torso forwards. Lift the clavicles, the collarbones, drop the spinous scapula, tuck the two floating ribs. Exhaling, turn towards the left, keep the chin in line with the sternum. Move the right hand to the left knee, left hand is on the floor. Turning the head on an exhalation. If you want to, bring the left hand behind you, place it on the right thigh, the left fingers or hand. Chin is tucking. You're not using the hands to pull you around. Don't overdo it. Now undo the bind. Return to the front. Allow your body to readjust. Now we'll do Dandasana again. Remove the junk from the trunk. Hands beside you or on the thighs. Clavicle, spine of scapula. Arches in the feet are going forward. Sides of the feet feel like they're coming back. Feet are dorsiflexing back towards you. That means they're trying to point back towards you. You feel a tightening in the soleus and gastrocnemius muscles in the calves. And relax. Shake the legs out. The next pose that I would like to do is Janu Sirsasana. It is a seated forward fold. To do that, I'm going to use a strap. If you don't have a strap, you could use a belt. You could use a fairly thick rope. It doesn't have to be terribly long, just long enough so that you can hold on to it. I wouldn't use something thin like string because that would be uncomfortable after a while. So, to begin with, extend the legs out. Draw the right heel, put it by the left groin. Your hips generally square to the front. Your right knee wants to press down on something. If you find that your leg is up in the air, just take a block or a blanket or a book and just put it underneath the leg so the leg has something to press into. In this pose, as you do the forward fold over the leg, it does go over the leg, not over the groin. As you do the forward fold over the leg, I want you to think about lengthening the spine out rather than bringing your torso down. Don't worry about how far down your torso goes. Just think more about lengthening the spine out. If you find that your hamstrings are terribly tight, you could bend the knee a little bit. And when you bend the knee, that will also relax to some degree the muscles that go from the greater trochanter up through to the back, to the lower ribs, and along the lower part of the spinal column. So to begin with, draw the right leg back. Hips generally square to the front. Bend the left knee, fixing the heel into the mat. I want you to feel like you're drawing the leg back towards you, but you're not actually moving it. It's just a little bit of strength that you're using to activate the muscles in the legs. Then extend the leg out. If you want to, you could sit on a blanket too. That elevation will help to relax the muscles to some degree. Take the strap, find the middle of your strap, and put it over the ball of the foot, not the heel, not the arch of the foot, the ball of the foot. Hold on to the strap with both hands, either side. Then forward fold, lengthening the spine, just gently lengthening, pressing down with the leg. The bent leg presses into the floor. It's a very active pose. Don't forget about that knee. Listen to your body. Keep the chin tucked. Lengthen your spine comfortably. Allow the foot to dorsiflex back towards you. Do not overdo the pose. Don't worry about holding on to the foot. That's why the strap is great. It allows you mobility in the pose, so you're able to find that spot where you can relax. Keep the spine comfortably lengthening. Keep the chin tucked slightly. As you go down further, you'll have to renegotiate the chin. Keep doing that. If you want to take in more of the strap, take in more of the strap. Listen to your body. Do not overstay the welcome of the pose. Keep the legs strong. Keep the knee pressing down. Keep the spine comfortably lengthening. Don't be in a hurry. Now, when it's time to come out, move the strap to one leg, one hand, take the free hand, put the free hand on the floor, press down with a hand, then release the strap from the other hand, and then press down with that hand, and then use the strength in your arms to bring you up. Please don't use your back to bring you up. Now to do the other side. You may find that you're tighter on this side than you were on the other side. That's not at all unusual because we are basically asymmetrical. Some sides are tighter than the other side. Draw the left foot back, put the heel near the groin. Check your hips. The hips are generally square to the front. Make sure you're sitting comfortably, so adjust as you need to adjust. If you want to, take the block, put the block behind the knee so you have something to press down on if you need that. Bend the right knee. You're lengthening the spine comfortably. Take your strap. Put the strap over the ball of the foot. Lengthening your spine comfortably. Straighten the leg. As you practice, ask your body how you can relax. See what you can do to improve the pose. You may find that relaxing in one spot really helps you out in another spot. That's why sometimes bending the knee really does help improve the pose. Listen to your body. Pressing down with the bent leg, knee. The extended leg is dorsiflexing, the foot is dorsiflexing back towards you. Listen to your body. Keep the chin tucked, the spine comfortably extending. Don't be in a hurry. Don't think about bringing the torso down. Just think about gently extending outwards or slightly upwards. Feel the stretch in the soleus and gastrocnemius muscles in the calves and in the hamstrings and the thighs. Listen to your body. When it's time for you to come out of this pose, come out of it. Be gentle to yourself. Now move the straps to one hand, then take the free hand and place the free hand on the floor. Press down into that hand, release the other strap, press down with that hand, then bring yourself up gently. Using your hand, draw the left knee up, extend that out, shake it out, remove the junk from the trunk. Dandasana, seated staff pose. Lift the clavicles, drop the spine of scapula, tuck the two floating ribs. If this is a hard position for you to be in, and you don't want to use a block or a blanket, bend the knees a little bit. Notice how that takes the pressure off of the lower part of the back. If you can do this with the legs straightened, bend the knees anyway, just to see the difference it makes. And notice how it changes the position of the sits bones in your hips. It can be a nice little tool to add to your practice for those mornings when you just happen to feel that much stiffer. Excuse me. Now, relax, shake the legs out. And for the final pose before Shavasana, I would like to do Gomukhasana, Cowface pose. Now, Cowface pose generally looks like this. In some schools, they lean down. In others, they don't. So, to practice this pose, remember, you always have the option not to do it. You can sit on a block or a book to give your hips elevation, and then you bring the foot around by the left side of the block, then the left foot around by the right side of the block, allowing your hips to open. Try to keep the knees stacked one on top of the other. You can do it that way. Or you can lift the left knee up. Here, let me do it this way. Lift the left knee up. Bring the right heel to the left hip. Now, if you have a problem with your left knee and it doesn't want to do that, just go ahead and keep the left leg extended out. You can still get some of the benefit of the pose without having to torque the knee and bringing it around to the other side. So you can do that. So, to begin with, extend the legs out. Decide whether you're going to sit on a block or a book. Bend the left knee. Thread the right to the left. Then bring the left around to the right. If you want to, you can sit with the heel of the right foot underneath the perineum, which works very nicely. Now for the arms, you can do this. Hold on this way, or you could take the strap, put the strap over the right shoulder, take the left hand, bring the left hand, turn the left hand with the thumb down, bring the left palm up, hold on to the strap with the left hand, pressing the left arm into the back, holding on to the strap. Then, keeping the thumb out, bring the right arm up overhead, hold on to the strap as close as you can to the other hand. Don't torque the elbow. If you have problems with your shoulders and you don't want to do that, and there is another hand position that you would like to use that will open up the shoulders, please feel free to do that. But do be careful when you make alterations to a pose. So, bending the left knee, bring the right heel around, draw the left leg around so the knees are stacked one on top of the other. If you want to, take the strap, put the strap over the right shoulder. Now, the way that I do this, the leg side that is pointing towards the opposite shoulder. So if the left leg is up, the strap goes over the right shoulder. If the right leg is up, the strap goes over the left shoulder. It's the same thing with the hands. So take the left hand, turn the left hand so the thumb is pointing downwards. Bring the arm behind you, pressing the arm firmly into the back. Right arm, thumb pointing upwards. Bring it directly up and over. Hold on to the strap or the hand. Please do not stick the elbow out to the side. The elbow is in front. Don't worry about if the elbow is pointing down or if the elbow points straight up. Don't worry about that. The main thing you want to think about is your shoulder. That's why the strap is so great. If you do need to have the elbow sticking out because you have a shoulder issue, use the strap. Don't just have your hands floating in the air behind you. You need to have something to hold on to get the full benefit of the opening of the shoulders and the chest in this pose. So lift the clavicles, drop the spinal scapula, tuck the two floating ribs, relax the face, listen to your body. If your shoulders start to hurt, come out of the pose. If your knees start to hurt, come out of the pose. Listen to your body. The only torture that happens here is the torture that you bring yourself. The ego can really get in the way. Allow your body to relax a little bit. Remember, you don't want to be overly tight in a pose. You want to be able to let your body relax just a little bit, or more than a little bit. Enough so that you feel the opening going on, but you also feel a relaxation going on. Okay, now undo the bind. Pausing for a moment, rest your hands on the floor before you undo the legs, unless your legs are in pain or something like that. Just allowing the body to relax. Then undo the bind with the legs. Shake the legs out. Now we'll do the other side. Remember, if you have scoliosis or something like that, you may find that you're tighter on one side than you are on the other. If that's the case, allow yourself to be tighter on one side than you are on the other. So, bend the right knee, thread the left heel around, either put the heel beside you, sit on a block, or sit on your perineum. Draw the foot around, take your thumb, move the calf muscle from behind the knee, so it creates a little gap there. Moving the strap over to the other side. Pause for a moment. Take the right arm, bring the right arm, turn the thumb down, press the hand and the arm firmly against the back, hold on to the strap, bring the left arm up, thumb pointing upwards, bring the hand down, hold onto the strap or onto the hand. You may be tighter on this side. Listen to your body. Don't force yourself into a pose. Allow your body to relax. Breathe. Try to keep your chest opening within reason. If you find that you're getting a shoulder aching and you're using a strap, lengthen the strap. So take the pressure off of the shoulder. Now undo the bind with the hands. Rest the hands on the floor. Allow the torso and shoulders to readjust. Remove the strap. Shake your legs out. Now please prepare for Shavasana. When you practice Shavasana, also called the corpse pose, I want you to have something to rest your head on. It can be a block, it could be a book, it could be a towel or a blanket fold up very nicely. What I want is that whatever you lay on, you just have it so that your head, the occipital ridge on the head, is resting on the block or whatever you're using. Whatever you're using does not touch the neck. If it does touch the neck, it only touches the neck slightly. Okay? So, you may want to have a blanket. I usually use a blanket. Have the blanket available to you. Have the block available to you. I will do this practice for a moment or two, and then when I am done, I will just sit up in meditation You're welcome to join me in meditation when I do. I will not say anything, though. This will give you an opportunity, if you want to, just to continue on in Shavasana. When you practice this at home regularly, at least 5 minutes or so, always make sure that you have time for Shavasana in your daily practice. So don't skip that one. It's a very important pose. So I like to use the blanket. So first I make sure that my legs are extended out comfortably. Take the blanket. Very nice, thin blanket, cotton. I do have some woolen ones that I use in the middle of winter. And just lay down. Adjust your hips. Adjust the legs. Make sure you don't have anything binding anywhere, anything pinching anywhere. Shoulders aren't pinching. If you're wearing glasses, you may want to take the glasses off. Listen to your body and just relax. Now, beginning with your feet, tighten the feet and then relax the feet. Tighten the calves and relax the calves. Tighten the quadriceps and the hamstrings of the thighs, then relax them. Very gently tighten the groin, the buttocks, and the lumbar spine, and then release them. Beginning at the perineum, at the base of the spine, tighten and relax the muscles along your spinal column until you reach the shoulders. Then when you get to the shoulders, relax the spine, go down to your hands, make fists of the hands, relax the hands, turn the palms upwards. Unless you have problems with your wrists, in which case have your hands whatever is most comfortable for you. Tighten the forearms, relax the forearms, tighten the upper arms, relax the upper arms. Now tighten your shoulders and then relax the shoulders. Very gently tighten the neck and then the throat. Then release them. Tighten the ears, relax the ears. Tighten the sides of the head, relax the sides of the head. Tighten the back of the head, relax the back of the head. Tighten the front of the head, the forehead. Now tighten the crown of the skull. Relax the crown of the skull. Keeping the eyes softly closed, look towards your feet. Feel the stretch above the eyes. Now look towards the forehead or the crown of the head and relax the eyes. Now look to the right, feeling a stretch on the left. Relax the eyes. Now look to the left, feeling the stretch on the right. Relax the eyes. Now allow your eyes to turn clockwise several times. And bring them to stillness. Then allow them to turn widdershins or anti-clockwise several times. And bring them to stillness. Now relax the muscles that surround your eyes so it seems like the eyes are sinking into the skull just a little bit. Relax the muscles that run along the bridge of the nose and underneath the eyes. Relax the skin on the face so it feels like the skin is separating from the skull. Relax the muscles that run along the jaws and at the soft part of the throat. Relax the muscle between the nose and the upper lip. Take your tongue and lick your lips. Then let the tongue be in a neutral place in the mouth. Relax the tongue. Relax the base of the tongue. Relax the root of the tongue. Now relax the soft and the hard palate of the mouth. Keep the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Be mindful of your breathing. Watch the breath going in, and then watch the breath going out. And when you feel it's time for you to come out of this pose, roll over onto whichever side is comfortable for you. Pause there for a moment or two, then use the elbow and opposite hand to bring yourself out. Thank you for coming to the practice.